But amid all the recent market turbulence, a lot of Americans are checking their 401ks, retirement accounts, to see some tough realities right now, maybe, depending on how you're invested. But our next guest says now is not the time to panic and start selling. Joining us to discuss is Heller Wealth Management President Larry Heller. Larry, good to see you.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, of course. Right now, it would be a good time to discuss defense and strategies around all this as we're entering a bear market. So what are you telling clients and what people should be doing out there?
Well, obviously not to panic. And if you're investing in your 401k and you have a long time, we tell people this is a great time to invest. Equity should be investing for a long time. I'm glad I followed Warren Buffett because he doesn't panic and he buys companies that have been beaten up. So we're suggesting the same thing. In fact, I think you have a chart that shows that anytime we've had a correction of 10 or 15 or 20%, the next 1, 3, and 5 years have outperformed. So now is the time to be either jumping in or actually looking at your allocation.
Larry, if you're someone who is in retirement now or retiring within the next year, though, and you see this market volatility, how do you actually respond to that, and where do you move your money, if at all?
Yeah, great question. So we work with a lot of retirees. So the one thing we do is suggest that you have 3 years of your annual expenses in cash and short-term bonds. So this way you can ride out any of these downturns. So maybe a little too late to doing that, but hopefully you've done that because we haven't gotten any phone calls. Our clients are trained to know that. Of course, when the market was flying, everyone was not so happy to have it in cash. But that's what I would suggest that you have.
So 3 years about what you're trying to do there in the short term, because I mean, when we talk about this, the average length of a bear market, 21 months basically is what we're looking at there. But of course, you know, you shouldn't really be banking on your stocks here to get you through the tough times. When you're flipping the equation though and talking to millennial investors, maybe people who haven't experienced a bear market before, what's the advice to them if they have a much longer time horizon?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I think I've come full circle. My first week in the business was October 1987. So I wish I knew then what I know now. So for the millennials, I would definitely, give into it hurts. If you're not maximizing what you have, please maximize what you can. If you look at your asset allocation and rebalance into equities now, you have a long time before you have to withdraw money. So that's what I've been telling all millennials.
And Larry, I mean, we know that so much of investing is psychological, not checking your 401ks. What other tips would you have for people or, to try to stay the course while this is all happening?
Well, I mean, again, that's behavioral finance. Everyone wants to get out when things are doing bad and go in when things are doing well. And you want to do just the opposite. We're going to have some volatility short term. So you're investing now is not for short term. It's for long term. So invest and not worry about the ups and downs that's going to happen.
In terms of allocation, though, when you're looking at where to put this money, right now we've looked at it, obviously the energy sector got hit very hard because of the collapse in oil prices, but outside of that, is there any specific sector that you're looking at, maybe names that you've seen a lot of interest from clients realizing that this may be a short-term blip?
Yeah, I've given up a long time ago trying to figure out which sector. So I think, going diversified portfolio is a much better way of going. And you want to do the asset allocation a little bit between maybe fixed income and equities and not really worry about which sector.
And you'd mentioned starting your career in 1987, so you've experienced a number of downturns. Do you see this one following a similar playbook and a similar recovery strategy for investors and trying to figure out what to do next?
Yeah, it's interesting because every time we've had one of these, clients say, well, this is different. The tech bubble is different in 1980. Well,
and this one's the fastest. I mean, this is the fastest we ever went from peak to a bear market.
Right. 2007 might have been different because it was a financial crisis. But again, we'll get through this just like we did at all the other times, and you don't want to wait until getting back in because the markets will move too fast for you. So take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of us now.
And it's always hard to remind yourself, but I mean, as we just heard from Warren Buffett, a longer term time horizon, a lot can change, and it's a lot of time for things to come back. But for now, Larry Heller, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.